Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
From sunny California, that's where we are. You listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. Yes, that's how we do it around here, folks. Nothing but straight talk up in this house. We have a great show for you today, but first let me introduce to you my co-host, Mr. Keith Swanson. You guys know who he is. He's an AI man, you guys. He's all over the place. It's so funny. I had up to about $3,000 on the board for anybody who find Keith, the AI man, catch him and say, Doctor, I got him. He's been at all of my functions. He has not changed his voice. Nobody got the money. Went back down to zero. So we may start it up again. I don't know why you guys cannot catch this AI man. Keith, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Right?
They can't catch you. They can't catch you.
Yeah, well, they'll catch me. When I take the job, they'll catch me.
Keith. Did you say that you were going to take that job?
Yeah, I'm coming for your job, so be careful.
You know, they say AI won't replace you, but somebody who knows AI will, and that knows is like me. In fact, I might as well throw it out there right now. My Tech Academy, that's my business. It's the only business technology platform that's going nowadays. Business and technology, where we teach people how to master this thing called AI. In fact, Wednesday, that's tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we have a great show coming up with introduction to AI. We're going to let you know how it works for your personal life and for your business. So if you're on here, you can go to mytechacademy.net and sign up. But this week only, it is free. Did you guys hear what I said? It is free.
Oh, we're giving things away now, huh?
We're giving stuff away now. Just for tomorrow. That's mytechacademy.net. Remember, it's .net. So today we have an interesting show. I get so many calls from people with their opinion about reverse mortgage. Should I do it? Some say I don't. I'm going to lose my property. My kids won't get anything. It's just blah, blah, blah. And it's time to get it straight from the person who knows best, you guys. And that's none of my guests today, and that is Miss Felesia Dailey. She is a mortgage loan originator. She has a decade of experience dealing with seniors and helping them to understand that they don't lose their legacy because they get a reverse mortgage. She worked for LoanDepot. I mean, she's just out there in the community. She's doing it, and she brings a wealth of information. So I thought it was time, as my daddy say, get it from the horse's mouth. Get it from the person who really know the truth. There's too many myths out there about reverse mortgages. I hear people. I had a lady once, she had a stroke because she was not taking all her medication. She was supposed to take it 3 times a day. She cut it down to 1 time because she couldn't afford it. Someone had mentioned to her about a reverse mortgage. I don't want to do that because then my kids won't have anything. Hey, you taking care of your kids now? I mean, what's more important? Let me tell you guys something about a mortgage that you maybe never thought about. When you own real estate, Keith, that's just like putting money in the bank.
Yeah, it is.
You say, why? Because that equity, that money, Well, a lot of people not been able to save any money. They don't have a savings account, but
Yeah.
they have money in the bank
Yeah.
when they have property. So
Yeah.
if you have money in the bank
Hmm.
and you need a roof on your house, you need to do something you need to do for yourself. Do
Right.
you let that money just sit there in the bank and say, well, I ain't gonna buy my medicine. I'm not gonna fix my roof. So people really gotta think. But today we
Hmm.
are going to get the facts about reverse mortgage. So let me start out with my guest, Felesia. Good morning, Felesia. How are you today?
Thank you, Dr. Rosie. I am doing fine. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm excited to get the facts out so people can learn the truth about reverse mortgage because there's a lot of myths and misinformation, a lot of it.
So start out by telling me what exactly is a reverse mortgage and how does it differ from traditional mortgages?
A reverse mortgage is just that. It is a mortgage, but it allows you to use a little bit, some of your equity in your home. You don't have to strip out all of your equity. Just like you were saying, Dr. Rosie, it's like having money in the bank. So you need a little bit, you take some out. It gives you more flexibility than a regular mortgage. On a regular mortgage, the bank or whoever you have it with is in control of that mortgage. You have a contract, you have to pay whatever they tell you to pay every month. If you don't, they're going to come get you. They're going to come take the house back. With a reverse mortgage, you have flexibility and you don't have to make interest and mortgage payments. You still have to pay your property taxes. Taxes never go away. You still have to make your homeowner's insurance payment, and if you have an HOA, you still have to make that. But your principal and interest, you do not have to pay payments. However, you can make payments. So, a lot of people think reverse mortgage is just for when you're desperate and you don't have money. You can use it if you need it in that way. You can use it intentionally to do something to create generational wealth right now, or you can use it to supplement and just keep it on the side in case things happen down the road. We're not getting any younger, so something might happen, and it allows you to have liquid money in case you need it. So basically, it is a mortgage. You do have the flexibility of not making payments or making payments. That's in a nutshell, what it is. But there are more flexibilities with that than with a regular mortgage because you can set yourself up for the future in getting equity into your hands quicker without going through the bank.
So it's all about planning. It's all about planning like right now. It's about planning a generation or later. I had one client, Felicia. She took money out. She did a reverse mortgage. And when
Mm-hmm.
she did the reverse mortgage, she gave each one of her children $25,000 that money to make a down payment on a
Hmm.
home. Each one of them
Hmm.
made a
Yes.
down payment on a home because she
Yes.
understood the power of reverse mortgage. She gave them that wealth. So right now, while she's living, they accumulating money in the bank, equity. So once
Yes.
she make her transition, now what a lot of people myth is about, well, you know what? I've had families to call me and say, well, we're packing up. I said, what are you doing? We getting ready to move because the bank on this house, mama had a reverse mortgage, so we got to get up out of here. Folks, there are people who really think that they don't know because many times when families get reverse mortgage, it's time for you to call the family around and explain to them if you know how to explain, if you know what's happened. Because sometimes all they know is I got some money, I don't have to make a mortgage payment. And that's as far as they go. So, folks, I'm telling you, being ignorant of real estate is like the judge said, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Hmm.
Ignorant about anything, folks, can really, they say, all you don't know can really land you in a bad spot. So, Felicia, I'm so happy that we have somebody in our community that's breaking it down and letting people know it's good. Some people it's good for, some people don't need it. You don't need to get a reverse mortgage because you want to buy a new car. Now, that doesn't make sense. You got to, it's all in planning. It's
It's
all just like I teach people with the living trust. It's all in your planning. That should be a part of when you're doing your estate planning. You need to look at, I'm going to retire. I don't have enough money to keep going on my retirement. Then you may look at, I may need to get a reverse mortgage. And you may have a child who say, well, you know what, Mom, at this point, because interest does accumulate. I want you to talk about that, Felesia, because
Yes.
you're not paying the interest, you're not paying anything, but they need to know it does accumulate. That's what began to eat up some of the equity. But I understand that it will not allow you to eat up all the equity.
Yes. So as far as the interest goes, now when you get a reverse mortgage, you got three ways of taking it. Basically, the lump sum, which is 99% never, ever the way to take your money out of your house. Unfortunately, I've run across Black people who were given reverse mortgage and never told about their choices, and they just give them a lump sum and that's it. But you can get a line of credit, or you can get payments for the rest of your life, or payments for a term. Maybe you only want payments for 10 years. Maybe you want it for the rest of your life. Now, when you have a reverse mortgage, it does accumulate interest. However, if you set yourself up with a line of credit and you decide to make periodic payments anytime you want at any amount you want, or if you're working, you can make them every month like you are right now. Every payment that you make reduces what is owed on the reverse mortgage, and it goes into your line of credit for you to access again. That line of credit is like no other line of credit. It's not like a HELOC or any of those. It can never be frozen. It can never be reduced. It can never be taken away from you. And with the FHA reverse mortgage, it grows at the same rate as your interest. So you're balancing it out. It's a monthly compounded growth rate every month. I know people who have a lot of money who use reverse mortgages, not just for the poor, because they're pulling money out of their equity, putting in this line of credit, and it's growing. Did I mention it's tax-free? So you have tax-free money at your disposal. And if you keep making payments, it goes back to you. It pays off your loan and it goes back to you. If you make a payment on your regular mortgage, it goes to the bank and you got to beg for it. So there are a lot of advantages to using it and knowing how to use the reverse mortgage and setting it up with intention.
I've had children who have gone in at some point and say, well, Mom, since, the equity is, the interest, you are paying it, you're just not paying it every month. But what they say, we're going to go in and we're going to pay off this reverse mortgage. So when you make your transition, we'll have more to gain. It's all about coming together and looking at what your end goal.
Yes.
That's why I think people need the right information, because it works for people if they know how to work. That's why I appreciate you, Felesia. I'm going to say that again. I appreciate you for giving this information to our community, because there's so many misnomers about it.
Right.
People just spread what they think and what they hear. You don't want no reverse mortgage, no, honey, because when you die, that house is going back to the mortgage company. And some people say, well, you got 3 months, you got to get out. Some say you have a year. It's all about looking at your contract. Let's talk about that.
Well, now with the FHA HECM reverse mortgage, it is written into law. It's the only mortgage in America that is actually a congressional bill. And you have 6 months when the last person passes away, then you have 6 months for your heirs to decide what to do with the home. If that's not long enough, you get another extension for 3 more months, and then another extension for 3 more months. You get up to a year to decide what to do with the home. This loan is a non-recourse loan. That means that if your loan is not based on how much is owed. You have an insurance on it, and it protects you, it protects the heirs, and it protects the lenders. So let's say your house was worth $100,000 and you lived in it for a long, long time, and now when you die it's worth 200. The loan is 200 and the house is only 100. Well, it's upside down. Your heirs are not responsible for the extra money. Your heirs are not responsible for any of it. The house is worth what the loan was worth, $100,000. They have to go to HUD and get the overage to cover their whole debt. And if they want to keep the house, which the heirs don't a lot of times know, if it is upside down, you can refinance that house for 95% of the market value, not the price of what the 200,000, but 95,000 if your home was worth 100,000. And the bank is made whole, and they can never come after anybody else for the loan. It's only based on what that house is worth. Another kind of loan, regular mortgages, they'll come after you, they'll come after the other assets, they'll come after everything to get themselves made whole, but not with the reverse mortgage.
Wow, that's really interesting. I think it's something that people really need to get the right information, because it is good for some and some is not.
Right.
So at this point, I'm going to we have guests in the audience. So if they have a question at this time, you can open your mic and you can ask Miss Felesia a question that you may have about reverse mortgage, and then we'll go forward.
Don't be shy. Jump in.
Because you all been asking me about it.
Mm-hmm. What's tougher? What's a tougher job, a mortgage broker or a lawyer?
I don't know.
But I have a client that lives in Washington, and she has a reverse mortgage.
Okay.
She wants to move to LA because her family is here in Los Angeles. So if she sells that house in Washington and moves here to LA, can she get another reverse mortgage?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to bring up some of the things that there are different kinds of ways of using your reverse mortgage, and one is a reverse for purchase. So if you have a reverse mortgage or you have a regular house and you want to buy a house and use it as a reverse mortgage, you could do that. She could sell that house in Washington and take her equity that she has left and buy a different house and start the reverse mortgage on the new house by purchasing into it. Also, there have been different rules that have changed. Normally on the FHA reverse mortgage, you have to be 62 years old or older to get one. With now, they have bank reverse mortgages that are jumbo and all types of different types of reverse mortgage. You only have to be 55 years old. There is a reverse second, where if you have a very low interest rate on your primary mortgage and you don't want to get rid of it, but you want to take like money out of it, use some of your equity, you can get a second. And that's like a HELOC, but it's a reverse second. So you don't, again, have to make payments on that second unless you want to.
Now that sounds kind of sweet, Felesia. Now that sounds sweet up in there with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So there are different ones. There's even a new reverse mortgage by one of the lenders who do these that people were very concerned. I want to have this much equity left in my house for my kids when I pass. So you can plan out to make sure that there's a certain percentage of equity that's not eaten up. Let's say you want to, make sure there's 30% left of what the value of the house. You can set that up from the start, from this type of reverse mortgage. There are so many ways that you can just be intentional about what you're going to do with this reverse mortgage money. And I love what you said about giving the kids down payments, because that's something we really need to do now, especially with what's going on with property taxes, how they changed the rules with that.
Prop 19.
Yeah, Prop 19. They're concerned that they can't finance themselves out of reverse mortgage, but now you got to be concerned with okay, if the house is worth $2 million and you got 5 kids, they're not all going to move back in. Can you make that property tax payment on a $2 million home every month? I mean, every year?
Like $2,000 a month tax. That's what it's going to be, folks.
Yep. So, these are ways you can mitigate what you want to do with your family, helping them to make a down payment, or yourself. Maybe if somebody wants to buy a duplex or maybe a fourplex with the money from the reverse mortgage, you don't have to just take the money and just do nothing. You can be intentional, like, we're going to build something for our family. We're going to start some kind of business. We're going to get a fourplex together. We're going to build an ADU. We're going to do something as a family to make sure that your generational wealth is intentional using the reverse mortgage.
Okay, let me ask this question. You
I
have
have a
this.
question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. It's Dolores
Good
Hicks
morning.
Radcliffe. Okay. I
Hi.
have a question. I am a realtor. I have
Yes.
a property right now that is a reverse mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
The borrower has passed away. The son had to go and do the court to get a probate. Okay. So we got
Okay.
probate has been done. And when we went for selling the property, it's in bad shape.
Okay.
So I have to ask for a short sale.
Mm.
The reverse mortgages honor the fact of the short sale because the property is not worth what the payoff is.
Yeah, the way the reverse mortgage lender usually does is they will order a appraisal after the
Okay.
person passes, and so if it's in bad shape, of course the appraisal is going to come in at whatever it comes in at.
Right.
So the homeowner can sell the property for the appraised value or refinance it at 95% of the appraised value if there's no equity. If there is equity, they still get the equity. But if there's no equity left, then they will sell it at the appraised value, and the lender will get the rest of their money from HUD. There's a insurance on that property if it has a reverse, through HUD. So they always are made whole, and it doesn't have to come from your borrower. It doesn't have to come from them. So
Well, she's
yes, they can
deceased, but
sell it.
it'd be her son
Her
went to
son.
probate. And I sent the paperwork into HUD a couple of weeks ago. I called yesterday and they told me another 5 to 10 days for the appraisal. I've been trying to get them to come and do an appraisal on the property.
Okay. But the answer to your question is yes, they should sell
Okay.
it at the appraised value.
And so that
And
would be a short sale. Okay.
yes, you
Okay.
do short sale, and your son, the son, will not owe whatever is left over. They'll be made
Right.
whole
Okay.
later.
And
Yeah.
that's only if that reverse mortgage is done under FHA, right?
Actually, it's a non-recourse loan on any reverse mortgage, even the
Okay.
banks. They cannot charge the heirs for a shortfall. They're going to get their money from HUD. So, they can still sell it at the lower price.
Because they all have to have. Is that so like the PMI?
Yes, there is a PMI when you do a reverse mortgage. It's a mortgage. It's MIP is what we call it. But yeah, that goes into place and is with the reverse mortgage for the life of the reverse mortgage, and that covers the heirs and the person in the home.
See, that brings me to another point, folks. That's why I keep telling people if you have a reverse mortgage, it's more important, really important, that you do have a living trust. Why do I
Yes.
say that? Because you're not tied up in probate. The whole time there is a amount of interest that's charged, you can say daily, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
if you tied up in probate for 2 years, say if that interest is $79 a day, multiply that times 2 years, that's equity that's being eaten up out of that property. I keep telling folks it's critical. You're going to be in probate 2 years if you're in California. You can count on that.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. And, you can, of course, put your reverse mortgage in your, trust. It's no sense not to do that because probate will eat up everything. It's just
Let,
not
let me
good.
let me ask you this question. Here you have this man. He's 70, and he wants to take a bride who's in her 50s. He has a
Mm-hmm.
reverse mortgage. So he makes his transition. What happens to that 50-year-old with that property?
Very
Can
good
she
question.
continue that reverse mortgage? Let's talk about that, because you know a lot of these guys want a younger chick. Okay, come on.
You are so right, Dr. Rosie. Well, the good news about that is that the rules for HUD changed a few years back, and now you can have a reverse mortgage. Only one person has to be the proper age, either 62 if it's FHA or 55 if it's a bank. And if you can marry anybody as young as 18 years old, they have to be at least 18 years old. If the older person passes away who had the reverse mortgage, that person can stay and live in that home for the rest of their life without making principal and interest payments. But they still will have to pay the property taxes. They're going to have to step up and start paying property taxes and homeowners insurance. However, if they're underage, not 55 or 62, they won't have access to the line of credit. But if they turn 55, they can redo the reverse mortgage so they can gain access to that money. But they can live there for the rest of their life and they won't get kicked out.
Wow,
Excuse me. Okay, another question on
and
the
Elaine,
fact.
we're coming to you next.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was it
That's
is okay?
okay.
Okay, I wanted to. This is still Dolores Hicks Radcliffe. I was asking too on back up with my other question. Can
Mm-hmm.
With California, you know, they have like domestic marriage where
Mm-hmm.
you can get it through the state of California. Can they do reverse mortgage if they have a domestic marriage through the state of California?
Yes, they can. The only requirements are the same requirements as if you're married, your age requirements. One of you has to be the proper age. If both of you are, then you'll both be on the reverse mortgage. And when one passes away, the other one have access to everything because they're on the mortgage as well. And yes, they can
Okay,
be
domestic
domestic
marriage.
or
Okay,
yes.
thank
As
you.
long as it's documented, like
Yeah,
if a
through the state
person,
of California. Yeah.
yes, through the
Okay.
state, of course, yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Elaine, go ahead.
Hi. Yes, Dr. Rosie, thank you for having this topic for this week. I wanted to ask Felesia, sometimes when young people get inheritances like their father, like in my kid's case, the father left them money, and I said, why don't you guys put some money together and buy a property? Oh, I don't want to own any property. I want to be a landlord. And it's like, how do you get young people to think proactively, like, hey, you're not always going to have that money, and if you always have some place to live, at least you know at least some of your basic needs are being met. I believe my kids are no different than any other young person. They get the money and go buy a car cash and, sharing it out with their friends and stuff, and then next thing you know, they don't have it.
Yes, that is so true. Young people do have more opportunity now. A lot of them are thinking about buying investment property, even if they're not thinking about, living in a property. A lot of them think they can't afford one, and it is hard for young people, but you can afford a house of your own with different programs. I do other loans too. I don't just do reverse mortgages, but just educating our young people to realize that money, and if you just spend it, it's gone. If you put it in a property, it's putting it in the bank. It's going to grow equity over time, whether it's investment or whether it's a home, that you live in. And pretty soon, once they understand, once they get out there and see how it is, they don't want to be homeless, for sure.
Right, right.
So,
And that's why, Alicia, I am saying to young people now who are looking at property, to really versus jumping out there trying to buy a real expensive home, for them to really look at a duplex or triplex. If something goes wrong, at least you have some money coming in. So I think
right.
that's a good point for them to look at. And it's a good time for parents to actually look at how can I go in, especially if you have more than one child. You might want to say, well, how can I go in and help this one get a home? That makes it easier when you're trying to divide versus two homes. Because once you leave a home, you got one child who wants to sell, I want out, and then you got the other child want in, but he can't pay the other one out. Now, there, all your life saving and what you have expect to leave as a family legacy is gone. That's why it's important that these type of conversations take place in the home. What is your end goal for yourself? What is your end goal for your children? It needs to be talked about. That's why they squander it, because you never talked about what to do. You didn't tell them anything. You just up and died, okay? You just
Right.
up and died.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And it happens every day. Just happened in my family. You know, my sister-in-law, 7 of them. And the mom wanted one thing, and the other kids, they ended up selling the house when some of them wanted the house, you know, and you got to have the conversation before then and have a plan, you know, and write it out. Have your trust.
Wow. And two, I mean, it's so many ways, but I'm happy to know that person now, I want to make sure that this is clear, that you can get a reverse mortgage now at age 55.
Yes,
They're
you can.
they're probably giving less money now because people are living longer. Am I right?
That is true. That is true. But if you only the FHA HECM reverse mortgage, the traditional reverse mortgage, has that growing line of credit for as long as you live. There are people that, you know, if you leave money in there, and let's say we have another downturn and you have $1 million in your line of credit and your house is only worth 500, you know, thousand, they won't take it. You can use and pull that money out and use that money. So it is a safeguard against, you know, just letting the property just add up and add up and add up and add up on the interest. You can mitigate that by using that line of credit and using that line of credit wisely for you and your family.
You know, it sounds like what you're saying, a person making fall on hard luck, get a reverse mortgage. As things change, they don't have to stay in that, or they can pay every month. You don't have to not pay because you have a reverse mortgage, because if you pay money, then that's going to mean that there's more equity left in there for your children when you pass. But most people don't understand that they have that option. They think
Right.
once I do it, I can just, all this money coming in now, I don't have to make a month to pay. I'm going to Vegas every other month. I'm doing this every year. I mean, it's all about planning, folks. It really is. It's
Yes,
about planning.
that is true. So
Wow.
true.
Elaine, did you have another question?
Yes, I had a friend in Texas, and she was always making like 6 figures, 200, 300,000 a year, and then she lost her job, and some realtor told her, "You better sell that house right away because they're going to throw you in the street." Even though the government had programs to protect her home. And so she didn't listen to me, and she sold the family home and moved out, and the realtor brought the house and made a profit on it.
Oh,
So I think that it's important that people realize, if you don't trust your friends, then, at least do some research, because they're not going to take your house that you've had for years and years and years. But I think if people live in marginalized communities where they're used to seeing people thrown in the street and their stuff thrown on the sidewalk, they're fearful that they miss one payment, that's what's going to happen. And I think it's important for people, especially listening right now, to know that there are programs out there to help you save your home.
yes, and you can save your home with a reverse mortgage, and it is set up for seniors, so you don't need any debt to income ratios, and we don't go by FICO scores. It goes by if you have enough money, you're getting Social Security, you can qualify. If you have low, not good credit, you can still qualify. People with the worst credit can qualify. The only thing that they will do for someone who's like doesn't have a bunch of bills that they've defaulted on or whatever, they will set up an escrow account so that the lender actually will pay the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance instead of relying on the homeowner to do it. So other than that, pretty much everybody qualifies. The determining factor is how much you owe on that mortgage if you have a mortgage, and how much the home is worth. Like if you only have $10,000 worth of equity and try to get a reverse mortgage and you're 62 years old, chances are you got to wait. The answer is not no, but it's going to have to wait because you don't have enough equity to keep some in the home. You would need, you have to have some equity left in the home. You can't strip it all out. So it's easier to qualify. And I have even saved somebody from a foreclosure by putting them into a reverse mortgage. You can't wait till the last day when it's getting ready to get sold. But if you're behind on property taxes or something and it's about to get foreclosed on, if we can pay those bills and put you in a reverse mortgage, we can help save your home.
Okay. We have a question from Dr. Pamela McGee. Dr. Pam? We can't hear you. Unmute.
Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't get to catch the beginning because I was having some tests done. So I need to understand the reverse mortgage. It's using the money in the equity of your home. It's using the equity in your home. You're living off of that, but do you have to pay that back?
Yes, you do. It is a mortgage. So what it's doing is taking some of your equity out so that you can use it now or, set yourself up for payments or get a line of credit. Basically, it's allowing you a portion of your equity that you have to use now. You can continue to make payments on your mortgage in a reverse mortgage if you want to keep it paid down, or you can not make property, your principal and interest payment if you don't want to. But if you don't, it adds to the balance due at the end.
Okay, now you said you could continue to add, you continue to pay on your mortgage. But
Yes.
say, for instance, you already have a mortgage payment that's been established, and then you do a reverse mortgage. Would that give me two mortgages?
No. What they do is it's only one mortgage in place. We will pay off whatever mortgage that is. So you have to qualify, have enough equity to be able to pay off that mortgage. And a lot of times you'll have access equity so that you can also pull some money out. Sometimes it's break even. And even if it's break even, sometimes that's worth it because it gets rid of your principal and interest unless you want to make payments on it. And if you make payments on it, it goes back to you as well as pay off the loan. So it's a good thing.
Okay, let me review what you just said. So you have a mortgage payment now before you get a reverse mortgage. When you get a reverse mortgage, then the company that does the reverse mortgage for you will pay off what you owe on the house.
Yes.
And then
they start a new mortgage.
They start all over again with a new interest rate.
It's not starting over again, but whatever you qualify for on your reverse mortgage, it's a mortgage. So let's say you have a house and it's worth $100,000 and you have a mortgage payment, you have mortgage of $50,000. They'll pay off the $50,000. Let's say you qualify for another $20,000. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm not doing any math. So you would get $20,000 out of your equity, plus the $50,000 that you owed is paid off. So you can either keep paying on it or pay a little bit at a time. You can make one payment a year. You can make $100 a month. It doesn't matter. You can continue to pay off your mortgage, or you can just say, I don't have any kids. I don't have any heirs. I'm not interested in that. You can just stop making principal and interest payments and just, use your $20,000 wisely or keep it in a line of credit so it grows, or you can do what you want.
But if you stop paying your principal and interest payments, then what happens?
It gets added. You're adding interest to the loan. If you never make a payment, let's say you decided not to make a payment and you got your $20,000 out and you paid off the $50,000 that you owed. Well, as time goes on, every month or every year, the interest grows. Let's say you live there another 50 years. Maybe by the time you're finished with the home, either you pass away or either you go to a nursing home or either you sell it, then it's going to be, your loan is not going to be $50,000. It's probably going to be let's say 200,000, but if you don't have to make the mortgage payments and that helped you live the way you wanted to live, then, your heirs can decide what to do with the house at that point. They can refinance it, they could
Right.
sell it, or, get a loan for 95% of what the value is.
But Lisa, let me see if I can break this down in layman's term, and you
Okay.
tell me if I'm right. You don't have to make any more payment. You just have to pay your taxes and your insurance. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't make the payment, it's like a regular mortgage. The interest is going to accumulate. They're not letting you
Mm-hmm.
have that money for free. They're getting something out of it. It's just allowing you to be able to live your life comfortably and not have to make a mortgage payment, struggling, particularly when you can't afford it. From day to day, you're struggling, you're hustling and busting. So now you have this cushion, but whatever that interest rate coming in, they're going to add that to that principal every month. So maybe you started out with a loan of 150,000 and you live another 25 years, then the amount that you would owe now could be 200,000. Does that help explain it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's it.
But you can come in and say, well, I got a big lump sum of money. Let me dump this on it. Now it's reducing it, making your equity less. So if you die now, your kids have more.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Go ahead. Oh,
that's
but I love
Okay.
this 55 that you can get a reverse mortgage.
Yes, you can
Folks,
at 55.
this is powerful.
Yeah.
I, I like the way you explained it, so people stop all this hustling and busting and struggling and going without raggedy panties, holes in your drawers, trying to save something for your kids, and they sell it or can't pay the tax on it. That's why coming together saying, well, you know what, I'm going to do this. Don't worry about the house, baby, because I'm going to give you 50,000. I'm getting this out. I'm giving all of you all a house. Now go make a down payment. It's all about, I hope you guys understand, it's all about planning. Use the reverse mortgage to make some sense. Like you said, you may want to add an ADU. That means
Yes.
that the kids now have some rent income.
Yeah. And the other
It's
good thing,
amazing.
they changed the rules in that it used to be if you had some problems, you need a new roof or you need this and that, you couldn't get the reverse mortgage until all that was taken care of. But now they changed the rules where that you can actually get a reverse mortgage and use some of your equity that you're going to be getting to get those things taken care of. Your house don't have to be perfect. They will let you pay off those repairs when you close the loan, so that you'll have a good house and you'll have your reverse mortgage all rolled into one.
But Felicia, what about saying to people, don't wait too late. Don't keep getting these people coming in giving you these seconds on your house to fix it up, and you steady eating up all the equity. Now you want a reverse mortgage. You got to have some equity. You're not going to walk in with a reverse mortgage. You done jack the house up to the hill. So let's talk about that. Because that's what
Yeah.
people do. I've seen them get 3 and 4 seconds, then they get another second to pay off this one. They just keep getting loans on the house till they have eaten up most of the equity. Now they cannot get the reverse mortgage. Let's talk about that.
That is true. So, like I said, if you don't have enough equity left in the house to cover, you got to have some left. They're not going to strip it out. And so you got to have enough either to cover if you have a mortgage, or if you don't have a mortgage, you still need equity. You need at least, it used to be 50%. They've chopped it down to where they don't give you 50% of your equity anymore. And it's a formula that they use. The older you get, and when you do your reverse mortgage, the more money they give you. If you're up at 62 or 55, they're going to taper it down because they want the money, the equity to last. As you get older, then you qualify for more. You can almost get almost all your equity out. I just did one for somebody who was 94 last year, and she had a lot of equity and she didn't owe a mortgage. So most of that came out, and really her husband had died, and they wasn't thinking that she's going to live 10 more years. So really she wanted to pass it on to them before she died so she could give it to her daughters. And, you know,
See?
she got most of that equity out of the home.
Wow. Let's see what's in chat. Okay, thanks for coming to topic. How to find the link for the free training tomorrow. Oh, someone asked about that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
put it in.
Oh, you put it in by
Yeah.
checking cat. Okay, Keith, put that in. That's for the free introduction to AI. And we also need you to put in the chat how they can contact you. In fact, I'm going to have the person who want to move from Washington here. I'm going to have her to contact you. So please put your information in the chat. I'm telling you, this is, and for those, Shawannah, she's also my co-host. She has joined us and she's in real estate. I was wondering if she had a comment. And for those of you, if you really benefit, if this will really help you, if you need Felesia to come and speak to your group, speak to your organization, I'm volunteering her. I'm always volunteering people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's exactly what I would say. And, you know, if you're a real estate agent, you know, you want to learn about how to do a reverse for purchase. You can have people who are 55 years or, you know, and older, you know, not have to set up their new home with a payment. You can get it through a reverse. So I can teach you how to help your clients do that. Somebody had a question here on qualifications. Qualifications are your age, number one, the value of your house, you know, making sure there is some equity in there. And then how much you get is dependent on the interest rate and your age, pretty much.
And can you afford to pay the taxes and the insurance?
That's what it's based on. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Another question: Can you use a reverse mortgage to pay everything off and have no more payments at all if you have enough equity?
Yes.
That's the idea, Keith. What
That's
you
the
think
whole
it's
idea.
all about? by being free, getting out of prison, out of debtor's prison. That's what this thing is all about. You got Dr. Pamela McGee. That's my daughter, and she's on here. She's in the hospital right now, but she wanted to hear this show, so she's there in the hospital bed listening to us.
Do doctors make good patients? That's the question I would ask.
No, they don't. You know why they don't? Let me tell you why they don't. She drove herself to the emergency room having chest pain. Now you know, doctors, really something wrong with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Shawannah.
Thank you for sharing so much knowledge, Miss Felesia.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much, because a lot of people don't really realize what reverse mortgages are all for. And they really help out, especially the elderly that just really can't afford anything. The main thing that they do have to take care of, like you said, are their property taxes and their insurance and things like that. Because if you don't, it can cause a foreclosure.
Yes.
I don't know if you kind of hit on the upfront fees, because there are costs in dealing with the reverse mortgages, you know, the upfront insurance fees. Yeah, so those are some things that everybody should be aware of, because upfront you do pay those fees.
Okay, so very good. I'm glad you asked that question and directed me back to it. I skipped over that part. The fees to get a reverse mortgage are typical mortgage lending fees, but with the FHA reverse mortgage, that insurance that is on the home for the life of the loan, and it also protects you, protects your heirs and the lender, that is the highest cost on this loan. Now that's only on the FHA, and it's 2% of the value of the home, and it's rolled into the loan. You don't have to come out of pocket for it, but it is an expense that you need to know is there, and that is non-negotiable. But if you do the other 55 and over through the other type of reverse mortgage, they do not have that 2%. They do not have that, but you still have the same protections. You also have, the only thing out of pocket with a reverse mortgage is the counseling, which is going to be about $150, $175. You have to do counseling before you get the reverse.
Right.
And then the other fee is your appraisal fee to get the house appraised. And that's out of pocket.
All right.
You can
And I
be
also
out.
think that,
You can be out of pocket or out of the house, Shawannah. Okay.
right, exactly. Well,
What's your
it comes from
choice?
the house. It comes from the equity of the house. So
Yeah.
you're not
Yes.
coming out of pocket with it, but it
Yeah.
is eating some of the equity in the house up front.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
You
Just
is.
have to
like
know
if you
what
get,
that
just
amount is.
like if,
Yeah,
like
right,
if you
points
get a
and things like
second,
that. But I'm
just
just
like
saying,
it.
just so everybody
Yeah.
can know what they're getting into. And
Yeah.
then one other thing on reverse mortgages is if the heirs of the estate are not able to pay off the loan, I know that sometimes you can uh, assume the loan, but the majority of the time you cannot. They give you up to 1 year to pay it off. Otherwise, it does go into foreclosure
Well,
for the
you have choices on that, but yes, you do get up to a year to decide what you're going to do with it, and in that time, you can try to refinance it or sell it. You don't have to
right.
sit there
You
and
don't
just
have to
let
do
it.
it.
Yeah, you can do
Let
Right,
me
but
ask,
something
people have
about
to
it.
know up front. People have to know up front that if your option, and I think all the moms and dads and grandparents and everybody should let their family members know. I do have a reverse mortgage. This is what you need to do up front. And
Yes,
if you do decide that you're going to sell the property right away. Why let that interest
right.
keep on riding? Because the interest does ride for the whole year. And
Yes,
if you are trying to sell, just go ahead and sell it up front and get it
yes,
in escrow.
that's why
Another,
Shawannah, that's why they need a trust. You can't sell it
yes,
up front if you go to probate. That's why all of
right.
this stuff ties in. But let me
yes,
ask you this. Say if someone died and they leave me the house, okay?
hmm
And I am over 55.
yes.
I can't afford to get it refinanced because my income is not good enough for to get refinanced. I can just, since I'm receiving that, can I just flip that into a reverse mortgage?
Absolutely. You can
That's
put another
powerful.
reverse mortgage
Yay.
on it. You
Y'all,
can.
come on, y'all, give me a hand clap because I asked a good
Hand
question.
clap for
That's
you.
a good
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of
Yes,
people think, well, oh,
yes.
I can't afford. Look how many people losing homes every day, you
Very
guys,
true.
because they don't have this information.
Yeah.
They didn't know
Right.
that they could keep rolling. When Mama left me this house, I'm 55. I don't
Hmm.
need to lose it. I can't afford a loan, but I can flip.
Yeah, you can
You
flip it.
Right.
guys, do you
And
realize the
Good.
information we got here today? Brenda
Yes.
Ellis, Brenda has a question.
okay. I do want to say that you don't have to wait until you pass away either. As we get older, let's say you're 80 and you have a child that's 60, you can roll them into the reverse mortgage. And then, when you pass away, they already have the reverse mortgage. They can live and do
Girl,
what they want.
you should not have said that. Pam,
That's
did you hear
good.
what
That's
she
good.
said? Did
Yes.
you hear her?
Yes, I did.
Then it just keeps on
Hmm.
going
This
year
is
after year.
awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is there a
So,
certain
Yes.
age though? Is there a certain
yeah,
age
The
for
age
the
is
heir?
qualifying age. You could be 55 on up. To get the FHA, you need to be at 62. To get the
Right.
bank reverse mortgage, you only need to be 55. And
No,
Right.
they
for
have
I,
your
more
heirs.
variety.
For your heirs. Your heirs
Yeah.
have to be 55 and over.
yes.
Yes, yes,
So
Okay.
I could roll my house over right now to my son in a
yes.
reverse mortgage and lay back and don't have to
But how
pay
does the property
nothing.
But
taxes
mom,
work,
is he
Dr. Rosie?
55? She said he
You
has
have
to
to
be
remember the property
55.
taxes because they come into play too. Because
Yes,
once
Oh,
you
from
roll it over, it's
I
being
can
reassessed and your
I can
property
pay
taxes are
that.
going
I'm
higher.
paying the property tax now. I'm paying the insurance now, and I'm
Yeah,
paying
but
the
if you
note.
if you roll it over to the next person
no,
and you're living
no.
in the property, you're going on the reassessed value of that property. That
What the
property
Oh,
will
way
be reassessed. Don't forget.
the way that
mm,
you would do that to not have that
I
happen
know about the
is,
tax.
yeah,
Yeah.
she knows about the tax, but like not roll it over, but put them on with you in the reverse mortgage, and you keep your same property tax.
Hmm.
Oh,
Without
wow.
changing.
Girl,
Wow.
the light bulb just went off.
Wow. But let me
That's
ask
that's
this
that
one question.
creativity in Dr.
But
Rosie.
the
Wait,
heir
shh,
but the
go ahead.
heir has to be 55, right? The heir has to be 55 or older.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
When
yes.
you add them to your, before something happens, when you add them to the reverse mortgage.
Right. They have to be qualifying age to be able to be in the reverse mortgage with you, to get all the protections. Now, we talked about before where if somebody married somebody who was a lot younger, 30 years old, and they're like 82 years old, that person can live in the house if their spouse dies. they can live there. They have to take over the property taxes and homeowners insurance. They don't get access to the equity until they do a refi reverse when they get of age. But if they never do it, they won't get kicked out of the house as long as they pay property taxes and homeowners insurance. And it won't reassess because it's still protected under that initial, they're still following the initial reverse mortgage. They're not reassessing anything.
Girl, I see a seminar coming out of this. I see a marriage for convenience. Y'all better come on up in here. Convenience marriage. Don't y'all tell nobody I said that. Wow, Felesia, this is so awesome, you guys. It is so awesome. Brenda never leaves this show without saying something to us. Elaine done had us say, in fact, Elaine is going to be doing the show with us. Let me tell you guys, we got some stuff coming up, I'm telling you. We are going to be talking about, let's see, next week we're going to be talking about authentic leadership, thriving at work without sacrificing who you are. Elaine Jackson's going to throw it down next week, and the next week we do signs and behaviors when a woman loves her man. Then we're going to do how to begin your day for success with Dr. Pamela Milligan McGee. And then we're going to talk about the election coming up next. Then we're going to have Amina Henderson. She's going to give us the power of hypnosis therapy. Black folks scared of that, but folks, you'd be surprised what it can do for you. Then we're going in to heal yourself or else. Then we're going to do top 7 AI scams, and then life after death. Folks, we got it lined up for y'all. I'm telling you. Brenda, come on. You got to have something to say. The Lords know I appreciate you so much, always. My real estate girl. That's my girl.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.
I am just so happy to be in the presence of these powerful speakers with this awesome knowledge. This has been fire. This has been so informative, and I thank you so much. I just want to say how grateful I am for this important information, because it is definitely a life changer.
Absolutely. We definitely have to have you back. We need to repeat this, and we need to get more people but it's going to be on YouTube. Okay, right. This show is going to be on YouTube. Felesia will be up there. Okay.
Okay, great.
So you got Felesia. Please put your information, how they get in touch with you. Can you put it in the chat?
Yes, I'll put it again.
Debbie seemed to be new. I remember Debbie being on. Jacqueline Walker, we thank you. Lachey, and all the rest of you. If you had comments, you can open your mic. We have a few minutes left, or you can put it in the chat. We want you to tune in every week at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're throwing it down every week, folks. We're bringing something that you won't hear on Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 9. We're bringing it right up here in the Express Yourself Hour. And if you're looking to sell a house or real estate, the Lord is your girl. She is the real estate chick. That's how I call her. She the real estate chick. The Lord says again. My co-host, Keith, Shawannah, thank you. I call Shawannah the Valley Girl. That's my Valley Girl, you guys.
Valley Girl right there.
That's my Valley Girl.
Visualization as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fixing and flipping properties as well.
Absolutely.
And
she
I would like to talk to her.
No, I'm just kidding.
She's the master.
Put your information in the chat, Shawannah. She has a vision board that's second to none. They help you create where you want to be and when. Folks, I want to say it is so important to call a family meeting. It really is, because there are folks, Felesia, that die and their family didn't even know they had a reverse mortgage after they had died.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. Folks, we got to talk. You're talking about everything else. You need to talk about your business and show your kids where the trust is, where your paperwork, where your insurance. Do not die and leave them broke, no money and no knowledge. That's a double whammy.
Oh, man.
No money and no knowledge. They want to dig you up. I don't say that. They want to pull you out of that grave and do something to you. It's too bad we can't do something, folks. Who I wish I was God. Y'all better be glad I'm not God. Anyway, you
Dr.
guys,
Rosie.
yes.
Yeah, this is Dolores. I just put my information into the chat because I would like to talk to that person that does fix and flips. Because
Okay.
I
That's
do
sure.
fix and flips. Yeah.
Dolores, I know you. You're with the service company, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yes, how are you doing?
I thought so too. I thought I knew
Yes,
you
because
as
it used
well.
to be Century 21, the service.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
it's just straight service company. Yes.
Right. Just the service. And
Used
we got paid.
to work
We
with
got tired of
Century
paying Century 21
21.
commission
Yeah.
when they wasn't
Okay.
doing nothing for us.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Felicia, did you put your
Yes.
information in the chat if folks want to know how to get in touch with you?
Yes,
Yes.
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Pam, my daughter, my firstborn. You guys don't know that firstborn.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
My baby, my girl, Dr. Pam Milligan, sitting up in the hospital. She said, Mama, I got to hear that. I said, girl, you're in the hospital. I got to hear. Okay, well, go on here then. I can't. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Go on do it. Go. Thank
Yes.
you for joining, you guys. Clock on the wall said that's all. Peace unto you. All of you. I'll see you same time next